Everyone, this is Abhishek and Durga joining from Everest Group. Today, there is a very important topic that we wanted to discuss about, and that is in relation to future of CRM in life sciences. And you might be wondering, why are we keen on discussing that topic today? The main reason is, through this year, in most of the conversations that I have had with the life sciences firms or tech vendors who focus on life sciences this year, has been on this question of what are the implications of the Viva Salesforce split, or Salesforce and IQVIA are coming together to take a new story to the market. And just before we started recording, Durga and I were having this conversation, and Durga was talking about how in 2021, she had written a report around the shift of CRM to CXP.
Yeah.
And we were discussing how it was then a futuristic concept of how the shift is likely to take place. But because of all that has happened, what we just discussed, the Viva Salesforce split, Salesforce IQVIA are coming together, this has almost become a table stakes discussion in user environments as they are thinking about, hey, what are the implications of the split? How do we really need to start thinking about the shift from CRM to CXP? And all of those questions that go along with it, which is the architecture and stuff. So, Durga, question for you, since you are so much embedded into this topic, how is this shift likely to take place?
Oh, that's an interesting question, right? I think back when we wrote about this, there were no real, or rather no announcements around what's happening in the supply side ecosystem. But definitely a lot changed since we first wrote that report. We were still trying to figure out, we were convinced that CRMs need to evolve, just because everything enterprises were talking about back then was customer experience being a top priority. How do we unlock it, not just for healthcare providers, but for patients, for everyone in the entire healthcare ecosystem, right? But when we look at, can CRMs really do that job? The answer was no. So that's why that we went back to the theory of why CRMs need to evolve, and we sort of carved the terminology of customer experience platform. But then I think we are still figuring out what's the new terminology on it. The industry is yet to come to a consensus. I would say we are all heading in the right, in terms of the journey, in the right direction, but we are still yet to get there in terms of what's this new or what's this future of life sciences CRMs going to look like.
It's interesting. So you are almost saying, even by not saying, is the fact that the whole Salesforce Viva topic that we are discussing, the split, in many ways set the cat amongst the pigeons by getting enterprises to think about it, and every other vendor who is focused on this space to move in that direction. Because from being conceptual or theoretical, this is starting to become more real, wherein as Salesforce thinking about future of CRM in life sciences is actually thinking about that shift from CRM to CEP. So that's interesting. So as you were thinking about the shift taking place and coming back to this original topic that we wanted to discuss about, which is this future of CRM and life sciences, what do you think are the contours of the shift that are going to define it, like both architecturally and conceptually?
It's a great question, right? I think that's the answer we've been trying to find out. I don't really have like a super accurate answer as of now, but like here's the thought process, right? Couple of dimensions. One, I think CRM as a technology has always been built for sales reps to cater to healthcare providers. I think that notion is going to change. It's no longer just going to be for sales reps. It's no longer just going to be to cater to healthcare providers. It's going to be beyond that. You need to think about the broader ecosystem as well, right? So patients that are part of clinical trials, from a patient services side of the house, even from like the supply chain system, right? Like not just limiting to maybe commercial or sales centric conversations. So in a lot of ways, the stakeholders that this technology will be relevant to is evolving. It's not just healthcare providers, which also means that CRM is not just going to be the only relevant system to do this job, right? So it's going to be foundational and a core component, but it needs to be sort of an open tech architecture where if you're talking about patient experience, your CRMs need to be able to talk to your clinical development platforms to really unlock that for patients. And if you're talking about maybe better distribution system, better supply chain to maybe as particular use case as sample management, right? So it needs to also integrate with your SCMs in a lot of ways. So again, truly bringing all the functions on the same page, that will be activated or orchestrated by a CRM, but CRM by itself will not be doing everything.
Wow. So that's interesting, because in many ways the vision that has to be defined by any of these players, and I see them doing that, by the way. It's not like I am saying it and they are kind of following through on it. It's in many ways that the core plus context problem solving for the shift is one of the major issues that needs to be taken care of. And the core is the CRM platform, but the context is the stakeholder. And the other part of the context are the different systems that these stakeholders interact with, which need to become part of that experience platform story. That is what will bring all of these together. So which essentially means, since you are speaking of different kind of stakeholders, the outcome becomes very important. Like, are you aligning to those stakeholders' outcomes? Because that's what you will get measured on. That the experience aspect is going to be important. And the other aspect, because of the context side of the platforms and other systems, that's the ecosystem we are talking about, because you are not going to build everything, right?
Absolutely.
So a Salesforce or a Viva are probably not going to think of this as an end-to-end, all self-contained platform, but it's probably a marketplace kind of philosophy that they're thinking about.
Absolutely. And if you look at the terminology that a lot of these platform providers are starting to use, they're not only calling themselves a CRM. In fact, they're trying to stay away from that kind of a market messaging, right? It's either a life sciences cloud or an end-to-end customer engagement platform, which in itself drives that story that this is not just CRM in a lot of ways. So I think, if you ask me, like, right now, are we there in terms of the journey? Definitely not. It's a long journey, especially for this industry. As we all know, we need definitely a bigger nudge to make things happen. So we are heading in the right direction. I think in probably due time we'll get there.
Yep. And somebody like Viva has already started to do things like that. Like you mentioned something around when we were speaking around the AI marketplace.
I think going back to the point you were making about ecosystem, right? Definitely one provider is not going to be able to do everything. So that openness to collaborate and create the frenemy relationship is now happening, especially with the AI partner program. So I've seen like very interesting collaborations between Viva and a lot of other very niche, small sized commercial technology focused providers, right? So again, these are all life sciences focused, do one thing, but do that like absolutely amazing, right? So they wouldn't even probably, even Viva knows that probably they are not able to do it. That's why the establishment of a frenemy relationship in a lot of ways. So now it's all about how do you establish the right partnerships to help enterprises achieve this vision of the future life sciences CRM.
Got it. So in many ways, what we are talking about, since we started off by speaking of Viva Salesforce, the split, and now to the entirely new ecosystem that is emerging, started off with a marriage, came to a divorce, and now we are talking about an entirely new set of relationships developing. So it's in many ways the world is coming. I mean, that circle is getting completed. So that's interesting how this is shaping up. So that is it from our side. We are continuing to track this space. We have research reports that are coming out. In fact, before I wrap up, I think there is a research report that we are about to publish on this particular topic, right? And there is one more that we are contemplating.
So there are a couple on the radar. The one that's going to go live in almost a couple of weeks from now is our second edition of the Life Sciences Customer Engagement Platform Speak Matrix. So this is going to bring all the platform providers on a 2x2 on the same page to really help you understand who's bringing what to the table in terms of their strengths, and also some of the areas that they're looking to improve themselves. And the second one is the answer that I did not have earlier, is what's the future of life sciences CRM? I hopefully will have an answer for that couple of months down the line. Intent is to really put together what's this new architecture going to look like, which stakeholders will it serve, and what kind of outcomes will enterprises look to unlock from these systems.
Awesome. So putting this word out there, we are having conversations in the market about the future of CRM and life sciences. We'll definitely look forward to your inputs about what it might look like. So feel free to contribute to what we might shape this report like. And in any case, we are coming up with the peak matrix focused on the CEPs. So that is something that you can look forward to in the immediate future. So that is it from our side. Watch this space, and we'll come back with more on what's shaping life sciences. Thank you.